That is a beautiful
Oh,
looking space you got there. Wow.
thank
The
you.
rugs on the wall and all that. Those are rugs, correct?
They're tapestries.
Tapestry, part soundproofing, part to make the space look awesome.
It's sort of a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. Yeah.
Sure. I am a big fan of both of you. And when you do some internet digging, you find that great hotel cafe performance that you guys did together over a decade ago. When's the first time that you performed together publicly?
2008 at the Mint.
Actually, it was before that. She's forgetting.
Oh.
She's forgetting.
Boulder Theater. The Boulder Theater.
No, there was a small cafe in Boulder, and I came and played djembe, and you were singing and playing the guitar. You don't remember?
Yeah, it must have been in 1999 or 2000, somewhere at a cafe in Boulder. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we had Rent-A-Crowd in. Like all our friends were there, just sort of cheering us along, and there can't have been more than about 15 people in there.
That's right.
Got it. Are there any recordings, or is there any video proof of that?
Maybe somewhere. I don't have it. That's funny.
No, actually, we played the Mint. We played the Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock, the Mint. We played House of Blues.
House of Blues.
2008.
And all those are documented.
Yeah.
I think the link that Alison sent to you probably has a few of those performances.
Yes. Yes, Alison is on point as always. And because of Alison, Rick, I spoke with you probably about 2 years ago when you had Wentworth Gallery showings and all that. Has this time where everyone's kind of forced to change what they're doing, has it brought you back to the paintbrush much?
That and specifically music. You know, I can't really do that much with Def Leppard at the moment. You know, other than you know, we're always working on new songs. But you know, you put two musicians together that happen to be related, and you know, we make a lot of music. So and this is really our workspace. You know, where we're speaking to you from now.
Right. Now, Lauren, you have been recording for a long time. I mean that in the best of ways. This new EP, how many songs had you guys written for it before deciding that it was going to be an EP?
Well, I actually went in and started recording with Jim Scott in early 2019, and I have enough material for 2 albums. So we just started recording everything and trying to figure out what we wanted to release first and how things move together, because I have I just like to write songs, so I write in different genres. So we were just recording what we loved, and this is part of a whole album, and we just decided to release 5 songs first as an EP.
When you talk to artists and you ask, how many songs did you write for this? They'll go sometimes, well, there's 7 songs on the EP, so 7 songs or 8 songs because there's a Japanese bonus track. You never know what you're going to get. That some people write every day like it's their day job. So you mentioned you have 2 albums essentially ready to go, or at least written. Are you the kind of person that's writing every day or every couple of days?
Yeah, what happens is I go to practice and I end up writing a song. So it's not like I go, I'm going to write a song today. It's just, I love to be in that space. It's a beautiful space. You know, those people who write will know, and anyone who's in the arts will know you have that time on your own, and it's a sacred time. And when I go into that place, I get a lot of images and melodies, and it's wonderful. So I'm there every day, pretty much.
Yeah, like a song like Get Happy, that came all at once, didn't it? It was like a stream of consciousness, yeah. and the whole song came to her in one. You know, I think you modified a couple of lyrics, yeah. but you know, other than that, the song was literally there. And I've had those conversations with other songwriters where they say, you know, it's literally, it's there. It was just waiting to be uncovered or discovered.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you have to be at home or in your home studio to write, or can you write anywhere?
Anywhere. Yeah, anywhere, really. Just
have you been able Oh, pardon the interruption there. I ask because some artists will tell you, I can't write when I'm on the road. I'm too flustered with everything else. And other people go, oh, I only write when I'm on the road.
Yeah, she's got hundreds of recordings on her phone. So she'll literally just, hit the voice recorder, sing something, play something on a drum, or, something on a guitar. And then it's the beginning of a new song. And sometimes the rest of it doesn't come for some time. But eventually, all these little snippets of information all get, pieced together.
Do all the songs, when you put them together, get properly demoed, or is it just that voice note?
Some of them I demo, but I love working with Jim because I could just send him here's what I did on my iPhone demo, and he's like, he'll listen to it and immediately connect with it, or go, let's work on that more, or keep that one in the archives, or
that's interesting.
That's interesting. And then I'll flesh it out a little bit more and show him again. But persistence helps.
So it sounds like you knew that you were going to work with Jim before you knew whether it was going to be an EP, an album, or a double album.
Yeah. Well, I sent Jim some songs, about 25 of them, 26 of them. He's like, send me a few songs. I sent him 25.
Right.
And then he went through them and he's like, well, we can do as much as you want. These are great. So we just started recording, and the process is great. And we just have to figure out, how we're going to roll things out. But I'm constantly learning new things.
Hopefully you're going to keep learning new things every day as a human being. But in the case of Jim, was there a particular work from his discography that made you go, this is the guy that can make our music sound the greatest that it can sound?
Well, I'm a big Tom Petty fan, and he's worked with Tom and the Heartbreakers, and that was when that was definitely something that made me happy when I found that out. But actually, it was that Hotel Cafe performance that you saw that a manager from another artist, Hamish Anderson, is from Australia. His manager, Kristen Jewell, came up to me afterwards and said, your songs are so great. Do you have a producer? And I said, no. Well, I said, no, honestly, Rick was my producer for my first album.
Right, I got fired.
Well, I didn't get fired.
No, I didn't.
No, he's so busy, and he goes away and comes back, and then it's nice for me to have an independent person that is consistent. So when she said that, she said, Jim Scott is great. You should really look into him. I'll introduce you. And then as soon as I met him and we talked, and then I found out, his work and listened. And Susan Tedeschi is one of his, one of my greatest. I'm inspired by her work so much, and he worked with her, Derek Trucks and Susan, and that was wonderful for me to know too. So I'm in good hands with him.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I personally love the Tom Petty discography and the Def Leppard discography and your discography and all that. So putting it all together here, Lauren, are you more metal than I think you are? Rick, are you more singer-songwriter than I think you are? Or is it just in the middle, both of you are?
It's sort of wherever the music takes you. Like for instance, Lauren's music is so diverse. I mean, sometimes it's sort of rootsy Americana, sometimes it's country, sometimes it's full on sort of electronic, pop. It really, I think it depends, exactly where the music pulls you. And I'm kind of the same. When I'm playing with Def Leppard, I'm primarily playing electronic drums and very loud drums to compete with guitars. When I'm playing with Lauren, it's infinite dynamic of an acoustic drum set. So I can kind of go anywhere. It really just depends on what music you present to me.
Right. I had the pleasure the last time I interviewed you, Rick, about asking about the Mutt Lange approach to recording, where you guys kind of did it backwards. Where was it that you demoed and did the roughs with the drums, then you cut them out and then did the drums again at the end. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, what that does, for me particularly, it gives me the opportunity to punctuate a song when it's finished, as opposed to trying to guess what the song is going to end up like. Because, you know, the Mutt Lange process, it takes so long and there are so many changes along the way, you know, arrangement or, you know, different sounds. It makes it easier for me to listen to a finished song and say, I know exactly what it means.
So I would assume, though, on this new EP that it wasn't done this way, where you rough track the drums and then redid them at the end. That's just for Mutt sessions and not everything else you do?
Because we were working with professional musicians. No, you know, the wonderful thing about Jim is the way that he can cherry pick from all this roster of musicians, all these musicians he's known over years. You know, he still has great relationships with them. And you tell the story, just how we picked the musicians. It was wonderful, really.
Yeah, well,
the
he
process.
just reached out to everyone. He was very committed to the project, so we were able to get some wonderful musicians on the record, and including Steve Ferroni, who played drums. And we've had a number of drummers on the record. Rick contributed to a bunch of songs, but I actually was able to work with Kenny Arnoff and Steve Ferroni, and it was great. I was just really grateful to have such caliber players play and be into it, and then the record shows it. I think it's so high quality. And
the story of Waddy, tell him the story of Waddy when we were at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I never knew Waddy Wachtel before, and
right.
You know, he's a legendary guy, but you know, I'm sometimes sheltered. And so we were at the Hall of Fame and Rick was getting his award and Stevie played and he played with her. And he was on stage and I'm looking at him going, I think I went to school. Did I know him from the neighborhood? Because I'm from New York and he is too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I recognize him. So at the after party, everybody was mingling and he was there and we were standing next to each other. And I said, do I know you? And so we started comparing notes and he figured out I was Rick's wife and we started talking and he asked what I was up to and I told him and I mentioned the people on the record, Steve and Bob Glaub, and he says, I know all those guys. They're my friends. I need to be on your record too. And so I laughed. I thought it was funny, you know.
She thought he was joking.
And he's like, no, I know Jim Scott too. You have him call me. And Jim did. And he came and I got to spend the day with Waddy and he was incredible. And he did amazing guitar work on Big Love and a number of other songs. So.
Yeah, that is, as you said before, real musicians, the kinds of people that get everything done in 2 or 3 takes. I'm going to assume rightfully that everything was done in 2 or 3 takes on that end?
Yeah, yeah. And it was with the whole band. Most of the songs, everybody was there, played together. And then, you know, we did some add-ons and overdubs with shakers and background vocals. And on Big Love, we had a bagpipe player from up in Monroe. And we recorded him to it too. And that was just epic. It was so fun.
Yeah, and of course, recording the drums for that was fantastic. We counted 6 or 7 drummers on six drummers on that song. And Lauren plays djembe so well. You know, just that experience, like playing with that many drummers, was fantastic. I loved it.
That's the second djembe mention of the interview, so that's a lot of djembe. And I'm curious if you two have ever collaborated professionally on anything besides music. I don't assume you have a couples podcast, for example.
We did a Resiliency Radio back in the day, probably 2006, 7.
Yeah.
We did through our foundation, Raven Drum Foundation. We provided a monthly podcast, and it was interviewing people that were inspirational. We actually interviewed Winona Judd and Billy Idol.
Yeah, it was great.
And just people who have overcome adversity and would inspire other people. I am going to be doing a Big Love podcast coming up in late fall, and Rick will be with me doing some things like.
I will.
Yeah,
Am I invited?
Yeah, you're invited.
That's wonderful that you two are able to collaborate so freely. I work with my wife professionally as well. Not everybody can pull that off. Did you realize outright that you were going to be able to work together besides live together and be together?
Yeah, I think we did. I think, I mean, that's why we started the foundation, because we saw that the healing of drumming, and my background is in mindfulness practice and spiritual healing and massage therapy, and that's how I met Rick. So we knew immediately that we had something that we could share with other people. And I think that's the key for us, is we're just not working together, we're working together to help other people. And when we do that, it strengthens our partnership, I think.
That's true. And, I bring a certain something to the table that is unique, and so does Lauren. I can't do everything on my own. So it's nice to be able to collaborate and just blend that. And it's a wonderful, we can give people a wonderful experience, when we work in regards to the foundation.
Sure. You both definitely bring, besides the adversity element that you just talked about, you also bring something different to the table in the fact that Rick, and being in one of the biggest rock bands of all time that's still doing amongst the best business. A lot of people go, oh, that's the band from the early 80s, the late 80s, the early 90s. They can't really define what it is. And you're still playing arenas and stadiums around the world, which is fantastic. I'm curious when you kind of realized that this was first not a niche industry. This was not hit related, that you were going to be your own cottage industry as an artist. And then from there, I want to ask you about what there still is to accomplish, because you're definitely keeping your feet low to the ground in playing the Mint, playing a stadium on a Tuesday and the Mint on Wednesday. So can you talk a little bit about that, the switching between universes there?
To me, it doesn't necessarily make that much difference. In a lot of cases, playing a smaller venue, you feel more exposed than you do sitting up on a giant stage behind a drum kit with 20 yards or more of stage in front of you, and then and then barriers. It is interesting. It's a different kind of energy. I think when you're in close proximity to people like that, you feel very can I say it, naked. Whereas on a bigger stage, it's it's a slightly different experience. It's a bit more detached.
Sure. And then speaking to the niche industry thing, when did you realize that you were going to be able to have a career, whether or not Def Leppard had a #1 record or a #1 video on MTV, that it was going to be okay for you long term?
I think a lot of that came into focus when we saw how many people voted for Def Leppard for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The fan vote was probably, I think, was the largest fan vote that they've ever had.
Sure.
And that to me made it so important, so relevant that all these fans had voted for us. And I think that's one of the things about Def Leppard fans, is how loyal they have been to this band, and particularly to myself, going through a lot of the things that they've experienced me go through over the years.
Sure. Now bring it back to Lauren here. Was there a particular artist or album that made you want to pick up a guitar in the first place?
Your grandfather.
Probably my grandfather. No, or Donny Osmond. I got my first guitar when I was 5, and then I started writing songs, shortly after that. And I was inspired. My first concert really inspired me, and that was Tom Petty.
Wow.
And I remember seeing him, and I had a visceral response to the energy that was on stage. And then I was just really shy by that time. I lost my boldness that you have when you're young and you turn 12, and you just get I was very shy until, later in my life, I picked up the guitar again in my early 20s. But I started early with my songwriting, and it was inspired. It was just naturally. As soon as I was gifted an instrument, I just automatically started writing and playing. It was, I think my soul just knew what to do with that.
And you mentioned Donny Osmond, kind of bringing the center ground between the two of you. Are you familiar with the hard rock Osmond songs "Crazy Horses"?
Yeah, yeah, I am.
You are.
What a great song, though. I mean, that was fabulous, and it was so left field for the Osmonds to do that. You know, that crazy sounding sort of keyboard that they had. To me, it was rock. So it wasn't difficult for another band to say do a cover of that song and make it really heavy.
Right. When I think about that Def Leppard covers album you did that had Badfinger and all that, that was really the first time that I ever noticed the great influences that you had, Rick. Did you start off as a Deep Purple guy and then you evolved when it came to your playing?
No, my dad was a huge music fan, and he had all these wonderful records, and big band. Glenn Miller in particular was one of my favorites. Then I started getting into more jazz rock, more technical. It could have been something to do with discovering drugs. I don't know. But then my older brother, he was very influential because he was like 4.5 years older than me. So he started bringing home the Deep Purple records and all the rock music that was going on at that time. So I had a wonderful contrast, a wonderful sort of, all this music that was at my fingertips. And I just pulled from all of it.
Well, 3 quick questions and then you're free for me. Are you ready?
Okay.
First one, any TV or film discoveries from being holed up the last few months that you could recommend to anybody hearing or reading or seeing this?
You binge watch.
Well, no, I'm.
What's the name?
No, I was watching that before. I saw a great movie. I don't know if it's for everybody, but The Two Popes. I love the movie. Anthony Hopkins. I found that movie very fascinating about the culture of religion and the corruption and everything else that parallels our world right now. That's it. We're not in front of the TV very much, and we're always just making art, and if we have an extra hour, we're going to be making something probably then.
Well, we'll pull our daughter off Roblox and have a movie evening, which is good. So
yeah, we watch a lot of Moana and stuff. And we're gonna make it down to it. It's that new spy movie, the animated movie with Will Smith. What's it called?
What's it called? It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
But yeah, so we're boring kind of.
My Spy or something.
Yes.
Yes. Good trailer. Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Question 2. Have you ever heard anyone say one negative word about guitarist Steve Brown? Because I haven't.
Yeah, I have. But Steve's great. Steve really helped us out during a very difficult time. Yeah. So I can only say good things about it, you know?
Yes, everyone here, at least in New York and New Jersey, loves Steve Brown and all that. So the last question for both of you, any last words for the kids?
Go on.
Keep making music. Make music. Make good music from your heart. Don't be like anybody else. Just be authentic and create new things to lift people up. That's what everybody needs to do right now.
Yeah, we're all unique, and it's good when we experience, each other's creativity.
Well, I am looking forward to the stadium tour next summer, but in the meantime, Lauren and Rick, I hope that you guys play live in New York yourselves in the very, very near future. If not, there's a live stream very soon. Keep up the great work you're doing on all ends.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Paltrocast.